Good.
All right, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Now I can't even see myself on the screen, so I'm just looking right at you, Kaan, and my camera's up there, but you're down here. So if it looks like I'm not looking at you, I am. I promise.
Same here.
So anyway, welcome back. I love the banner in the background with your TV. I love that car. That looks amazing. Wow. And look at your shop. So just to catch everyone up to speed, last time you were on the show, it was because you had quit your job or you were quitting your job. I can't remember exactly what it was. And then you were opening a new shop and had just had to leave that new shop. So catch us up to speed from there. Where are you at now? How did you, or was it that was the last episode you had found your new shop?
No.
Okay. That was just, we had talked on the phone.
Yeah. Well, and I had actually last week, I had re-listened to my podcast.
Okay. So you know exactly what we talked about.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to get refreshed. I didn't want to repeat anything. I didn't want to go around in circles. Very, very odd to listen to yourself on a podcast. So I imagine
weird.
You know what that means.
I don't listen to any. Heather makes fun of me all the time because she's like, "You don't re-listen to your podcast." I'm like, "No, I can't stand my voice."
Same here, dude. I feel like I'm eating like a mouthful of peanut butter when I'm talking. It's so weird. But I re-listened to the episode. So where we left off was I had when we were at Mobile Tech Expo, I had scored a place with a partner, a cohabitant.
That's right.
And what had happened was that person, he was supposed to be a mechanic. And we kind of had the same clientele, so I felt like that would be great symmetry. You know, he does the oil changes, the tire rotations, things like that. Yep. And then I do all the cleanup. Well, so we got the building together, signed the lease, started moving in, and while we were at Mobile Tech Expo, he was doing the build out. So he was doing, laying the concrete floor and doing all this stuff. And then I get back and, I got cars coming in and so on and so forth. Well, he wasn't too happy about that. Like, I was gone while he was putting the building together. Then I come back and roll cars in. So he got a little bit upset with me, but really the way we got separated was I found out is that he does not have a mechanic's license. So in the state of Michigan, he does not have a mechanic's license.
Little problem.
He had no interest in getting a mechanic's license or an LLC or insurance or anything. So my lawyers at the time said, dude, that is going to be tremendous trouble if things go wrong, because what will happen is, the court will find out and they will just lock your doors. They don't care who many people work in that building. If the building is locked, it's your problem. And so, think about it. If I had a customer's car stuck in there for a month or 2 months while I, had to deal with logistics, it was just going to be a nightmare.
Be a big problem.
So I bailed on him. And that kind of put me in an awkward position because I already had given promises to not only clients to do their cars, but, I had signed contracts with coating companies and other retail.
Because you had already signed a lease too, right? Or no?
Yep. I signed a lease. The way I got out of the lease, which worked out to my advantage, was the city inspector came by, and the city inspector said that the building that we were in was not zoned as commercial.
Got it.
Zoned as real estate. Or, I'm sorry, retail.
Got it.
So I went to the landlord, and the landlord didn't know. I throw no stone at the landlord. I mean, he just wasn't wise to it. So I told him, like, look, I got heavy machinery, I got water. These are things aren't going to work for me. On top of it, my cohabitant, it's just, there was just too many no's. And the owner was like, dude, I'm not, I can't give you your money back for the concrete floor, but I'll give you your money back for the security deposit and first month's rent, which was awesome, So,
right.
I lost a couple $100, but I would say easy out in my opinion.
100%.
But now here I am, what was it, a little right after January, I have coating companies, I got empty promises to fill, and I'm in a pinch. So what I did was I reached out to one of my customers who's a real estate, like, I would say at least 30% of the Grand Rapids skyline is owned by this guy. Like, my wife works in a hospital. The building she works in is owned by this guy. Wow. The hotel, a 13-story hotel next door, is owned by this guy. So it's major.
He knows property.
So Well, he had a lot of property. So I'm like, you know what? He'll be a good person. And he's down to earth, the most casual guy you'll ever meet in your life. So I reached out to him, told him my story. This is the position I'm in. And he goes, well, guess what? I have something in store for you. It's not what you're going to want right away. It's not in the right location, but let me show it to you anyway. So he brought me out. I'm out outside the city limits, probably by about maybe 2 or 3 miles. So it's not really bad, just a little bit south of Grand Rapids. And what happened for him was that the current, where I am, the current tenant was actually growing marijuana illegally.
Is that why there's so many lights in there?
Well, those are mine. No, these are all mine. He everything got taken out because what happened was he got caught somehow. I don't know the full story, but I just heard bits and pieces of it.
Sure.
And the police department shows up and they find a fully automatic AK-47, a rocket-propelled grenade launcher, and a shotgun.
Not good.
Building plus marijuana growing illegally. So they call the ATF, and the ATF shows up and then just guts the building. Everything, so every light, every wire, every hose, everything that, required for marijuana was pulled in the sake of evidence. So the owner, my client, the owner of the building, was literally left with a bare building. I mean, there was no electricity in here. There was no lights. The water lines were cut by, they were professionally cut and all that kind of stuff. So what my landlord or my customer said, he's like, look, dude, I'll give you this month per month. That's what I have into it. That's my costs and stuff like that. But the problems are yours. If the sink clogs up, that's your problem. You need electricity, that's your problem. You need plumbing, that's your problem. Don't call me. But in return, I'm going to give you this building at bottom dollar. So,
wow. And how big is the building, or how big is the spot?
So what I'm in right now is the studio side. The studio is 1,100 square feet.
Wow.
Then there's a retail front, which is about 1,000 square feet. And then there is an additional upstairs. So above me, you can actually see the wood beams.
Yep.
Above me is a secondary, like a man cave mezzanine and office spaces, which is another 1,000 square feet. So
have you filled out the whole place?
3,000.
Wow. That's incredible. So did it almost work out better that the guy before you was growing pot? And so because when the ATF comes in and guts everything, it almost gives you a blank surface to do it how you want to do it. And it's all new and fresh.
Yep, and then landlord, my customer is like, dude, do whatever you got to do, just don't burn the place down. I don't care. So, knocking walls down, putting up drywall. I didn't even have to ask him for permission. Wow. I just went ahead and did it. Obviously, though, whatever changes I make is his.
Right.
I'll try to send you the link of the video when I first got this place so you can see it. Okay. But there was no drywall. There was no lighting.
It looks great. It looks phenomenal.
There was nothing. It was a bear.
Because I know through our conversations when we had talked by phone that you were a little worried about being outside of your target area or outside of the city limits or whatever. Now that a few months have passed, has that affected you at all? I know it's not like you're 20 miles out, but you're what, 5? Is it 5 miles or 5 minutes?
I would say about 10 miles.
10 miles. So has that affected you at all? Do your clients care?
Good question. It was a concern, and it still is a concern to this date. So the ideal, location. So if, I'm going to use my fist as an example. Yep. But if this is the city circle.
Yep. Kaan's doing a podcast. Leave him alone.
Yeah, exactly. If this is the city circle, on this side, which is like the northwest side of the city, like typical as wealthier community lives. Well, I'm down here at the south side of the city, so it's a little bit of hike for the ideal customer. But like they say, if you build it, they will come. For the most part, I've had no issues. I literally have only had one customer this year said that's too far for me, it's too inconvenient for me. But I had prepared myself for that. So what I did was I got with my insurance company, and I had made sure that my insurance allowed me to drive my customers' vehicles.
And I was going to say,
it allowed me to drive a customer's vehicle for 20 miles.
Okay. And I was going to say that, and you could always, if someone has this situation going, another option would always be able to either Uber or, pay for your customer's Uber. Or I know what guys like Scotty, at least back when I had him on the show with Scottish Shine Shop in Canada, they were leasing like little smart cars and stuff like that for like $100 a month, or like the cheapest cars they could find, they would lease them and then wrap them with their like business name or whatever, and then they would give those to the customers to use while the customer was getting their car detailed, and it added an expense to their business, but at the same time made it a little bit easier for a customer to drop their car off. But that's good to hear that it hasn't been an issue at all.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I do offer one Uber ride.
Okay.
So if the customer wants an Uber ride home, or if they want an Uber ride from home to here,
got it. That's a good idea.
I do offer it. And I do put a cap on it, though. I do put a cap at 15 miles.
Got it.
So, just to make sure I don't get a customer who's like, my home's Chicago, Illinois, $300 Uber bill.
Right, right. I guess it would depend on what service they're getting done, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but still, that's a big hit.
Well, and that's funny you say that, because, right now I have yet to not do a coating job. Not probably. I know for a fact the vehicle over my shoulder is going to be the first car that I haven't done an actual coating job on.
So let's talk about that. When we first met at SEMA, and I think even the first time I had you on the podcast, you still had a full-time job at an audio-visual company, right? Yep. And you had talked about making that jump into full-time detailing. And really, I think and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you went from working that job straight to the shop, right?
Totally.
So what's been that like? What's been that like? Hello.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you to go from, not having the overhead of a shop, but also not being able to create that atmosphere for someone to come and drop off their car, to where you're at now? What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still scared. I'm not going to lie. I definitely wake up in the middle of the night. I wake up early in the morning, on the weekends, like last week, I didn't have a car, it actually turned out it gave me an opportunity to finish the building out, because I'm still technically under construction.
Right.
But, you get a little bit nervous. You're like, okay, bills are coming up. This is coming up. And there's no check in the mailbox. There's no, every 2 weeks you're going to get a check.
Right.
So it's still very nerve-wracking that I carve my own destiny, but at the same time, that's the excitement of it. You made it by yourself. Nobody gave you a free lunch.
Yep.
You don't make it, well, you did something wrong. And I like that rush, and I imagine you do too, and probably most of us detailers who are full-time, that's what we wanted that. Carve our own path.
Yeah.
But I did a little bit of research, and I did find out, and some of the things kind of played in my part. So I told my day job before I went to SEMA of what was going on. The popularity of my business, of what I'm doing, is gaining a lot more traction. And I wasn't doing any promoting. I didn't have any major marketing deployments. The only thing I really did was, social media documentation, Facebook photos, and word of mouth. And that just cultivated into just client after client after client. And so I wanted to be, realistic, or be down to earth, and be transparent with my employer, and say, look, this is what's happening. This is what may happen. I may have to resign, or we may have to discuss of me going part-time or working a couple days a week, whatever. We have to have this discussion. And basically what they ended up doing is they just let me go. They're like, You know what? We understand. We're just going to go ahead and let you go. Well, that's technically termination, which obviously, it qualifies for unemployment.
Got it.
But obviously you can't legally go get unemployment. You can't go get unemployment and work for yourself at the same time.
Right.
There is a no-no there, but thanks to Obama, there is a gray area. So Obama in 2013 passed the like SBC, something like that, small business state funding. So it's exactly like unemployment. You actually go to, for at least the state of Michigan, you go to the unemployment website, you file for unemployment, you get approved. But once you get approved, then you have to fill out a second document. And basically, it's whatever your unemployment rate is, but it's not under, like, I don't know if you've ever done unemployment where they ask you, have you looked for work? They usually ask you, have you looked for work? Have you put in a job? So those questions are no longer asked. So all they ask is, have you had any earnings this month? And my business is, obviously whatever I get goes right into it.
Right.
I haven't taken any money home. So as long as I keep that up for a full calendar year, the state of Michigan will give me my unemployment legally.
Interesting.
Yes.
Wow. So in California, and I don't really know the laws. I did take unemployment one summer when I was 16, actually 17, and I became a professional surfer. Not really, but because I was getting paid, and I just surfed all the time. But but
awesome life.
It wasn't bad for 17. But one thing I remember through going through the unemployment process was, doesn't your employer don't they pay a percentage of your unemployment rate? So, and maybe I'm
yes
wrong.
And no.
Okay.
They pay unemployment insurance.
Got it. Okay. So because and this is kind of off topic, but I wonder, I'm kind of curious as to why your employer was willing to essentially fire you, right? To collect. Now, did they do that to help you, or?
I was technically up to, and I don't know if they knew that I was going to play this card.
Say that again. The computer.
Sorry,
crap.
I don't think the business, my employer knew what it was exactly I was up to. But I just did this research because I'm like, okay, I need to, some funds coming in, and I found this out, and I contacted, I have a lawyer, so I contacted my lawyer, and she was the one who actually turned me on to this, because she's like, look, if you collect unemployment and you're working for yourself, that is a big no-no. You will get your hand slapped. You will go to jail.
If you're making a profit, though.
Well, no. For what the small business thing,
got it.
Making a profit, then I have to report it. They ask every 2 weeks, if you made a profit, you have to report it. So, it is, and then you also, it's not as cut and dry as typical unemployment. You do have to attend business classes. There's business online seminars you have to take. So you do have to put work in, and you have to put effort in. But what in the end result, what's nice is that it's helped take care of some of the home bills. Has helped me put some food on the table.
It's helped created some stability as you build this out and get it.
Yeah,
going.
I'm not getting rich off of it.
No, and I think it's a great plan, and I'm not looking down at it at all, because I think it's a good stopgap to really set you up for success, or set your business up for success. And it's just, look, if there's gray area, sometimes it's best to play in that gray area.
Well, and the thing too is that honestly, even if I didn't do the unemployment, I think the services they offer are phenomenal. So some of the small business classes I've gone to have given me a lot of help. Marketing classes, accounting classes, and the thing too is you don't meet with some hoopla person. Like the accounting person I met with ran his own golf course for 30 some odd years. He's retired. He's just bored. He's got nothing better to do, so he does his voluntary thing. But you get to talk to a legitimate business guy, and he helped me make a spreadsheets. He's helped me make profit loss margins. So that alone has given me a tremendous foundation to help grow my business, because I don't have a business background. I don't have that education. My education's in sports science. So it helped, like you said, create a bridge to allow me to create the business without losing too much sleep, without working too hard. But I'm working crazy hours. I was here last night until 3 o'clock in the morning finishing the job.
That's crazy. But sometimes that's what you got to do, right?
You got to do it, man. Sweat equity.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. The more effort I put in, the harder I work. And will it give me guaranteed success? No. But the way I look at things is, if you don't do it, the only way, if you ever wanted 100% guaranteed in your business, 100%, not 99.9, 100%, the only way to get that is not to do anything. You want 100% on anything, don't do anything. Then you're guaranteed nothing will happen because you're not doing it.
Right.
So if you want something to happen, you're going to have to put action in. So I just feel like I want to look back. If this fails, because in my, the statistics are not in my favor. Most, what was it, like in the United States, like 70% of all new businesses fail in the first year. And the ones that survive, like 45% of the ones that survive die in the first 3 years. I mean, they're not stacked in my favor, not in the least bit. So I have to look at it in that perspective of that the likelihood of failure is higher than the likelihood of success. But I want if failure comes, I want to welcome it with exhaustion. I want to work so hard. I want to put in so much effort that when if it happens, God forbid, I'm going to try for it not to happen. But if it happens, I can walk away and say, look, I put it all in. It wasn't me. There was nothing I could have done about it. It was in the cards. It was meant to happen. And that's what keeps me up. That's what keeps me at 30, 40 hours of work in one sitting to keep going.
I just, I looked up the stat, 20%, according to this website, Fundera, 20% of all small businesses fail in the first year, 30% fail in the second year, 50% fail after 5 years, and 30% fail in their 10th year in business. Yeah. Interesting. So yeah, the odds are stacked up against you, but I mean, my viewpoint is on all that, like, okay, so 50% fail, but that also means 50% succeed. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it is how you look at it. And I just think, like, I used to have this, I'm kind of a quotes guy, and I used to have this thing in my room when I was growing up, and it said, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And it's like, you cannot tell me that you being there till 3 a.m. and putting in the work, and I know you're a high energy guy and you're passionate and I know all that. You just cannot tell me that someone with grit like that is going to fail. There's just, like, regardless of the stats, there's just, and I think you would have already been gone, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
I think things that don't work right away usually don't end up working. So now that you have the shop and all that, are you, and you're, there's your puppy. I just saw your dog. I love that.
Oh, yeah, little guy right here.
That's so rad. Are you incorporating services other than like correction and coding jobs? Are you doing clear bra? Are you doing window tint? Is that in the works to try to find someone to do that?
Well, I for the time being, what I've tried to create is an inner circle of people in my community. So I have a paintless dent repair guy. I have a window tint guy. I have a wrap and clear bra, a wheel repair guy. So I have people like that. So like, for example, I just got done working on a 1971 Buick, and that it had a door ding in it. So he had asked me, can I pull that out? I'm like, well, I can't, but I can get a guy here. So it was nice for the customer that he could drop the vehicle off in a single location. He knew it was safe and well taken care of. And then the dent guy would come in, pop the dent out. I pay the dent guy, and then I just add that on to the invoice for my customer. And it's very well. But some of the things that I am going to be adding on in my own services for sure is going to be PPF or paint protection film.
Okay.
And the reason for that is I would, in my opinion, it's the same reason why I got into this business in the first place.
Right.
Is there's a necessity here in Grand Rapids. There are current, just like there are current detailers, there are current paintless PPF guys, paint protection film guys, and they do an okay job. But I'm not about okay. Okay is my minimum. I try to go for the best. So I've seen some of these guys' jobs, and it's questionable. It's like, why aren't you removing the headlights and tucking the film around the headlights?
Got it.
Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? You know, it's because these customers are dropping, you know, $5,000-$6,000 on these films, and you know, I'll get them, and they're not even a week old. Like I did a Focus RS recently. It had a full paint protection film front to back. Number one complaint the customer had was it doesn't look glossy anymore. And, you know, he had the Focus RS with the lightning blue, which has a little bit of metallic flake in it.
Right.
He's like, my paint job looks like crap. I understand I need to protect it, but it looks like crap. So that's why I pitched him. I'm like, well, look, you know, the best of both worlds is paint protection film, because it's going to give you the protection, but then a ceramic coating on top of it to give you back some of that gloss, that give you that jewel-like look. And so he was all in for it. This car literally went to paint protection film and then came to me, maybe 20 miles. And in that 20 miles, there were 2 corners that had peeled up. There was dirt behind the corners. You know, I found a couple bubbles. I found hair.
I wouldn't even call that good enough. That's like bad.
Yeah, exactly. So
know?
I called the owner. I called the guy up and say, hey, you need to get out here and fix it. And he goes, no, you know, they're fine. Just steam clean it and stick it on. And I'm like,
wow.
No, that doesn't. We're not cutting any corners.
Right.
If you're doing a good job, then do it right. You know,
right.
If you don't want to do it 100%, which is fine. You're entitled to not
Sure.
wanting to do everything 100%, but don't do it, or don't get in the way of people who want to do it 100%.
Right.
So, necessity, I am going to bring paint protection film in. I haven't set in stone who I want to carry, but right now, one of the companies I have my crosshairs on is Stek, S-T-E-K.
Okay.
They're a company. I met up with them at Esoteric's open house this past couple months. Great company. They're from Germany. They're trying to make a name for themselves. But just like Gian, which is the coating company I carry, they're a full system brand. So like I don't know enough about paint protection.
Sure.
My understanding is like you go to 3M, they give you the 3M raw. You have the film, but then you got to go buy a plotter. Then you got to go buy a computer. You got to go buy the CAD machine. So all these different companies working together to create one result. And it probably works very well. But the thing that I liked about Stek was the training, the product, the plotter, the computer, the software is all theirs. So it's all under one umbrella. They train you, hands-on training. So it's very intense training. So that's why I feel like that's a product that I'm going to bring in. I'm not going to probably bring it in this year, just because, first of all, the sheer cost of the investment is astronomical. But it's too late in the season. I mean, we're August. We're
right.
only, we got 2 months away. It's going to be, fall. So to bring in, a multiple $1,000 project that then has to have a learning curve, you're going to have to do your wife's car. You're going to have a couple screw-up jobs. There's not enough time to do the screw-up jobs and then make a little bit of profit before the season closes. So I'm going to probably bring that in next year, especially like at SEMA. I'll probably be out at SEMA trying to get as knowledge underneath my wing as possible. So come summer, I'm ready to go right out of the gate.
So what is your plan, this being your first season with the shop, what is your plan do you think having a shop is going to buffer you from kind of having a season, or what is your plan to get through the potential lull?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I have given it lots of thoughts. I mean, that's really what keeps me up in the middle of the night, because, like I had mentioned earlier, the state of Michigan does not cover, what I get from the state.
Yeah.
It barely covers anything.
Right.
We're eating ramen noodle kind of a, peanut butter and jelly for lunch kind of a lifestyle, but it is what it is. It's better than zero. But so come winter, so far, I don't see any signs of letting up. I have a few customers that I've created a really great relationship with, perfect example. This one over my shoulder is Packard. It belongs to a car collection, and we're talking multiple car collection. Mm-hmm. To the point where the guy has an employee with a truck and trailer, and that's all this guy does is, go to auctions, maybe the guy's selling a car, maybe the guy's buying a car, but constantly moving these guys' cars around. That's how many cars he has that he can employ a person to move that around. So winter is not an issue for him. And I think a lot of my business is going to be washes. Getting customers, my prior customers who are coated, or maybe people who, I still see business coming in. I don't see myself doing full paint corrections and ceramic coatings in the middle of the winter. Maybe one here or there, but I see a lot of my car collections. A lot of those guys get through them. A lot of quick details, quick washes, which I enjoy greatly. I mean, I love my ceramic coatings. I love to be able to spend that much time with a single car or know, what your project is laid out in front of you. But at the same time, it is very, very intense. So it's a lot of mental strain to do a ceramic coating.
It's very exhausting.
So sometimes, it's exhausting.
Mentally,
Yeah, mentally and physically. It's an exhausting process. And especially for me, who is adamant about doing everything 100%, and is concerned about my customer. And not only that, when I do a job, I'm not only worried about my customer, I'm worried about my customer's buddy. Because I come from the, situation where, you bought this big, huge, expensive whatever, and you show it off to your buddy. Oh, look what I got. It's so badass. And the guy and your buddy within like half a second goes, yeah, what's that right there though? So when I detail a car, when I work on a customer's car, I'm worried about my customer's buddy pointing that out and embarrassing my customer, which will then come tenfold to me. Because if I hurt my customer, whatever.
Right.
But what'd be nice is, the $200 jobs, a good wash and wax on the outside, a good carpet screen, get rid of the road salt. I think there's projects that here and there that will keep busy. But it'll also, I think the winter is also going to give me a time where what I really want to do with this business is to start an educational adventure.
Okay.
In my opinion, with where auto detailing is in the current market, it's awesome. We've created a lot of ground, but I still feel like there's a lot more ground to gain.
100%.
And still doesn't know. I mean, I was talking to a guy that was, hardcore car guy, was all into his car, thought he knew everything. And he told me that clay bar removes scratches. So, and it's nothing against him, but it just kind of gives me a measurement, almost like
it shows the gap in the industry or what still needs to be done. It's like, guys, if we're still talking about clay bar removing scratches, like, one sense that's horrible, and the other sense it's like that's amazing because like that's so easy if we're going to start there. We're not talking about the chemistry, the chemical makeup of a coating, or the inner workings of a machine. We're talking about like a clay bar. It's like we could talk about that.
When I told the guy I used a clay mitt, and he lost his mind. He's like, "There's such a thing? Does that actually work?" It might as well been like back in the medieval times showing the guy a lighter. I mean, it was like that. What kind of space was that? Like that shocking. So that's one of the things what I love about what I've created here in my building is, over my shoulder. That's why there's a TV on the wall. Yes, I get to watch TV while I'm at work. Shoot, you're on your own boss. You might as well.
I do anything I want, right?
Most of the time, it is either off or I'm watching a
podcast. I get it. Thanks.
Unfortunately, but
you've seen a lot of my face lately.
It's really to give seminars. I got chairs and stuff like that, and they use that television as a PowerPoint, like a whiteboard.
That's a great idea.
Presentations off, and then give them out for free. I've reached out to car clubs, so like the Porsche Club, the Mustang Club, the Corvette Club.
How have they received that? Are they open to having seminars and stuff like that? Like, could that be turned into a good marketing idea? Because you do have that retail storefront. So were the car clubs receptive to that? Like, would that be a good plan for people with shops to kind of draw customers in?
I think so.
Okay.
I absolutely think so. I think if you have a brick and mortar, I mean, here's the thing. As a businessman or a business person, because there are lady detailers out there.
Of course.
For your truck, even if you're a mobile guy, in my opinion, if you have something that is making you money, your truck, my retail front, my showroom, if it's making you money, you better make sure that you're extracting every ounce that's possible. So the way I look at it is every square foot of my building is either making me money or I'm spending money on it. So I might as well figure out a way for it to make me money. So if you're a brick and mortar building, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to give up seminars.
Right.
And because look at the success stories on multiple planes. And I mean, we could talk about you. We could talk about Larry from Ammo. We could talk about Panda Organizer. We could talk about, Matt. All those guys, including yourself, got, in my opinion, as much recognition as they did was because they were willing to show you behind the curtain. They were willing
100%.
to and say, hey, look, this is how it is, like it or not. This is the reality. This is the truth. This is how it works.
Right.
You create that foundation of trust. Just like if you went to a doctor, when you go to your doctor, the information he's giving you is in your best interest, not his best interest.
Hopefully.
Best interest. Hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully. And so that's where I feel like I want to take my business adventure and be that expert. I don't have to sell a product. I want to recommend a solution. And,
Okay.
And with giving classes, with giving seminars, it gets me out there in the general public, in my local market. And I'm not focusing on you and Matt and everybody else is focused.
Right.
My world is Grand Rapids, West Michigan. That's my world.
But you should record it too and just put it on YouTube because you never know.
You never know. And I have. We're starting to put content. Once we get the content rolling, we're going to put it out there. On all the platforms because it's only smart in this day and age. You have to have Instagram, you have to have Facebook, you have to have YouTube, and you have, in my opinion, you have to have what's the business social media site? LinkedIn. You have to have those. Yelp, all of them. And it sounds frustrating. It sounds overwhelming. I imagine there's somebody listening right now rolling their eyes thinking you're out of your mind. There's like 6 platforms that I have to babysit. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
How do you know what platform your customer is using? You know for sure? Yes, you may get a YouTube customer. Yes, you may get a Facebook customer. But what about that Instagram customer you lost out? What about that LinkedIn customer you lost out that you didn't even realize you lost because you weren't there?
Right.
So that's one reason you should have all your.
Great tip.
The second reason, which I didn't even know this, and this is a good piece of information for you. I got this from my marketing company. Nowadays, Yelp, Groupon, LinkedIn, and then she had said one more. But I know for sure those 3 sites, they have bot programs where if you're an established business in the area, there's a bot that will fill your information out for you. So if you go to Yelp, you could find me. And her argument was that you're going to be on Yelp if you like it or not. So you might as well go do it and get control over it to make sure that your Yelp page looks like what you want it to look like versus having some bot fill it out for you.
Interesting. And that
I didn't know that. I didn't absolutely know that.
I didn't know that either. I do know there is a lot of bots running around on Instagram and stuff like that, and you can kind of see it from the follow unfollow thing. But that is a marketing company that has their head screwed on straight. Sounds like.
They're great. I actually have 2 marketing companies that I'm working with, so they're absolutely great. They're both great. If it is in the budget, if you can afford it, I definitely recommend having a marketing company.
What does the next 6 months to a year look like for you in your company? What are your visions and dreams for your company look like in the next 6 months or a year?
I mean, my main focus right now is really on becoming the celebrity in my market. I want to be the celebrity detailer. I want to be recognized when I go to a Cars and Coffee or a car event. Somebody there recognize me. No, I'm not expecting somebody to want my autograph or take a picture with me. No, but I want to be seen as this is the cornerstone expert.
Yes.
Base all your car detailing knowledge off of what this guy says. Make your own decision, but you better consult with him before you move forward.
Yep.
That's my number one goal. And if I get business from that, great. Well,
it's inevitable, right? It's inevitable.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's eventually, because even if people like, perfect example, recently a guy from Cars and Coffee came up to me. He's like, dude, you are everywhere, every social media platform. I see you all the time. And he doesn't even follow me. It's all from the paid ads and stuff like that. He has a ceramic coating on his car. He has Ceramic Pro. So technically, is there anything that I could do for him? No, but he still come. He came. He ended up, and this is why I carry, one of the reasons why I love Gian so much. He has a Ceramic Pro silver package on his car, because I know Ceramic Pro has like the package system.
Right.
He has a silver package. Well, I asked him, like, well, what's your wash regime like? How do you maintain your coating? What is it that you do? Really inquire about that customer's, how does he maintain that investment? And I say, well, look, you spent a good deal of money on getting a coating. Let's talk about getting the proper soaps. Let's talk about, the after detail spray. Let's get you using proper towels.
Right.
So even if that customer was sold by a competitor of mine, Ceramic Pro, in my mind, he's not off my books yet. There's still potential for him to get services from me. And who knows? He might sell that car. He might want his wife's car coated. You never know what he has in store. So to be involved with him and to be transparently nice, you will never catch me coming up to somebody and say, well, what the hell were you thinking? You got Ceramic Pro? Go catch your car on fire,
Right.
I don't do that, because I don't want to belittle the customer's decision. I want to say, okay, you made a great decision. You made the best decision with the knowledge at hand. So let's make sure you get the most investment out of that decision. And that's why I like the brand Gian. So, getting out there in front of these people, I think come winter, come the next 6 months down the road, they're going to start trickling in. Because I'm going to fall back onto the science of, I think, who was it? I think it was one of the major, talk guys. I don't know if it was Casey or anyways. One of the things that I learned in for people to recognize you, so the science at least, and I may have these numbers wrong. So for a person to recognize your company, they have to see it 7 times. So maybe a billboard, a shirt, a sticker, somebody mentioning it. It has to take 7 times before that person will consciously be aware of your company. They go, oh, yeah, I know Revive, or I know, JIMBO's Detail. And from there, it takes an additional for them to go, what is these people about? Maybe they'll go to your Facebook page. Maybe they'll go to your website. But that's after 14 times of them seeing your name.
Right.
Then from there, it takes a conversation with you, maybe a consultation, maybe an in-person meeting. So another couple more for them to then consider you as hiring your services. So if I'm lucky, at the short end of the stick, I need to be in front of that person at least 20 times.
Right.
Okay. So,
and by the way, that's before you even think about completing a service. And I love talking about that all the time. I'm like, guys, it's so much more than just detailing a car.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to.
No, you're right. I mean, you got a point there, and that's kind of the direction I want to head in. Is that it's not about the job. And here's the thing: I'm a salesman. I come from the sales background. I'm going to tell you right now. If you tell a customer a ceramic coating or your job, you can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. And the customer says, "Okay, where do I sign?" You did not sell that customer, and if you feel like you did sell that customer, you're fooling yourself. You gave a presentation, and your presentation sold the customer. You didn't sell him anything. You had a really good presentation. In the sales world, the sale does not start until the customer says no.
I just heard that today. I literally just heard that today, that the sale doesn't even begin until you get your first no. Correct.
Because until then, you're just giving them a presentation.
That is so weird that you brought that up, because I was talking with someone today, and I was talking with the blender, and we were talking about a client, and I was like, he said no. He loved the product, and then no. And he's like, perfect. That's when the sale begins. And I was like, I remember thinking like, really? But if you say it, maybe I needed to hear it twice today.
It is, and here's the thing, and I don't want people to get held up when somebody says no. Okay, if you want to be, because here in this industry, especially if you're going to indulge yourself in the coating industry, you have to see it from the customer's perspective. They're going to give you their pride and joy, their possession of love. I mean, because if you're having a ceramic coating conversation, it's obviously a vehicle that they have a lot of love for.
Right.
So you're telling them, I don't know you, you don't know me. Give me your X amount expensive love and joy, whatever it costs. It's your love and joy vehicle. I'm going to slap some magical liquid on it that's going to keep it cleaner, shinier, all this. Like,
that you can't see.
It's too good to be true.
Right.
It's extreme. So if you get a customer committed, either you have a pro consumer on your hands or you gave a good presentation. But when a customer says no, don't fall apart. Don't get upset. Don't even show a sign of frustration, because if you do, then for sure you're done. You're not selling anybody.
Right.
So you can work with those. And I think, having a good pitch and even pitching it to family members or friends and having your conversation dialed in, your initial conversation, or, wherever it is. Because, like, for example, I'll meet a customer, I'll see a guy at a gas station. I won't go, hey, how, do you have a wax on your car? Do you have ceramic coating on your car? Go right into a sales pitch. They're going to smell that coming. They're going to just turn you off.
Right.
So you want to go, hey, man, good looking car. I love it. What is it that you do to maintain it? Make it about them.
Right.
And then, you want to work yourself in, say, give them your business card and be like, look, if you ever need any advice, here's my business card. I'm an open book. If you're at a retail store, if you're, at your AutoZone and you don't know what wax to buy or what towels to buy, call me right there and then. I'll help you out, and leave it at that. So that's just an example, but, another customer says, okay, you give them your sales pitch about ceramic coatings, and they're going to go, well, let me talk to my wife about it. Okay, that's an easy out for the customer. That's the customer trying to get out from underneath it. He may be nervous. He may, whatever, you don't really know what his issue is, but that's an out. When a customer says, let me talk to my significant other, that's an easy way of them saying, I don't want your services, so go away. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, as a smart salesman, you should go, well, sir, ma'am, what do you feel like your significant other would have a rejection to? Mm-hmm. Is it the cost? Is it this? So you're basically putting them back on the hot seat. Even though they want to get off the seat, you put them right back into it, And the other thing I like to do is never ask, in the beginning of a sales pitch, never ask close-ended questions. Close-ended questions are questions that can be answered in yes or no. You want to ask those towards the end of your pitch, not the beginning. And what I mean by that is, do you want your car cleaned? Well, yes, I'm here, aren't I? That's a simple, you don't want that. So what what is it that you want cleaned on your car? You can't answer that in yes or no. You're starting conversation, and in the midst of that, you're creating a rapport, you're creating bond between you and the customer. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, that's when you want to start flipping your questions from open-ended to close-ended, because what you're trying to do is obviously go for the sales goal. Would you like your car to last cleaner longer? Well, yeah, who wouldn't say yes to that? Mm-hmm. That's a yes. Well, would you be interested in me showing you a product solution that will keep your car looking this good for the next 5 years? Yes. So you're now creating excitement. You're creating yes, 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 yes. Then you go for the close and you ask for it. And I think another big thing, and I can't speak for the whole industry, and you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people don't ask for the sale. There's always that awkward silence. You give them, the customer, almost the customer's wallet is in their hand, and you still are just like have that blank stare to the point where the customer's like, do you have any paperwork for me to fill out? Again, you drop the ball. So get the customer into the sales, close before they even realize it. So they're like, you overcome the objections. You got a couple yeses in a row. Hey, do you want your car to last cleaner longer? Yes. You wanted to do this? Yes. You want to do that? Yes. Let's get you signed. When would be a good date to bring your car in? That's a soft close. So then you're kind of getting the customer to go, or how would you like to pay for this, or, so on and so forth. I know we're getting a little bit off topic.
No. It's perfect. This is very getting off topic is my favorite topic.
I mean, obviously you can see the passion of salesmen is coming through me, because
you're trained. It seems like you're trained too, very well in sales.
Well, because when I was in sales, because I'm an honest guy, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and salesmen are known to be, I don't know if weasel would be the right word, but
slimy
guys. Yeah. They're known to be bottom feeders. They're known to be, so I never wanted to come across my customer with that. So I learned tactics to make it comfortable for the customer, but also comfortable for me.
Right.
If you've ever done door-to-door sales, if you've ever just walked up to them, it is the most awkward, degrading, emotional feeling.
It's horrible. Ever.
So I did not want to be a part of that. So I read books, like this, what was my favorite book that I read? I can't think. I think it's like The Top Salesman or something like that. There's like 5 or 6 books that I read. Then I do a lot of, reading and stuff like that in the sales world to understand it. Dude, right on the tip of my tongue. Shoot.
It's not by Grant Cardone, like Sell or Be Sold or anything like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yep. And then there was another one, The Seller's Mind. That was a really favorite book of mine, because then it tells you like what's the thought process of a person when you're buying.
Right.
In the endorphin release when you make a purchase and all that kind of stuff. It gets it all into the science of it. So as a sales guy, you try to play in favor of that, and not necessarily to belittle the customer or pull one on the customer, but to be able to make it easier for everyone. The customer's more comfortable, you're more comfortable, because in my mind, if, when a customer says no, what I hear is says, dude, present it to me in a different way.
Right.
When a customer says no, that means what I said didn't resonate with them. Mm-hmm. So you need to do more inquiring. And if you're really good, if you're a really, really good salesman, you can actually get your customer to sell themselves. So what you do is you ask questions like, I see these carpets I see a lot of carpet stains. And he go, well, my wife, drinks coffee in the car every morning when she's taking the kids to work, and she spills coffee over the place. It's real frustrating. Pull that information later and then bring back and say, you're doing a package. You're like, hey, you want to get those carpets coated? No, I don't. But, sir, you just said a few minutes ago that your wife spills a lot of coffee on the floor. Wouldn't you want that to be easy to clean up? So you almost painted the customer into a corner. We're like, well, hey, I did. Yeah, I might as well get the coating,
Right.
But you're giving a service to a customer. It's your job. It's not the customer's job to figure out what your services are and if it aligns up with their expectations. In a perfect example, in my business, I don't have packages. I don't have a silver. I don't have a gold. I don't have a platinum package. I don't have a stage 1, a stage 2 detail. I don't. And the reason I don't is because I have personally, obviously the size of me, but personally have never fit into any package or any mold. I mean, have you ever had gone to anything, and have you ever gotten, even if like McDonald's, gotten a number 1 and it was perfect, just the way you want?
No, and a good example of that's relative right now is like I got a new truck, right? Because my old truck I had leased it and the lease was up, so I needed to move into a new one, and they didn't have the exact package I wanted, because the exact package I wanted didn't exist. And I was like, well, do I custom order a car? I'm like, I'm not into that. I'm not going to custom order a car, so I guess I'll just take that package. But no, I'm the king of like creating my own package.
Sure.
Because I don't fit into a mold,
Yeah, exactly. And so I feel like most of my customers shouldn't have to fit into a mold.
Right.
So I want number 1 prize. I want to hear what my customers' needs are, right, and address them accordingly. And that's where, as much as maybe some people have the general fear of, I don't want to become a salesman. I don't want to, sell. I'm here. I just want to
sell or be sold, though.
Yep. And that's the thing. All I want to do is just clean cars. If that's what you want to do,
go work for someone.
go work for somebody. You know, in that case, they will line up cars for you all day, and all you got to do is clean them. But at the same time, don't expect to be taking a wheelbarrow of money home, because you're making the guy who's giving you the cars rich while you're just making a little bit. So if you want to make your own path, I feel like, you know, you have to be good at detailing. You have to be good at business ethics, and you have to be good at sales. You really, really have to be good at sales. And social media falls under the sales umbrella.
100%.
Forget about that.
100%.
You're out there, you know, social media is your digital image of you.
Yep.
So, you know, if you're going to want to take pictures of you and your buddies out at whatever bar doing whatever shot, go for it.
Right.
Don't let me stop you.
Just don't put it on your business account.
Don't put it on your business account. Go get a private account. Go close it off to the general public. It's only for you and your friends. You know, because you're selling. Your Facebook is selling you. So you look on Facebook the way you want to appear to the customer, and that's a sales tactic. That's a deployment. A website. Those are in my opinion the little bit of tidbit or little pieces of foundation that you need to get that person to call you.
Right. Absolutely. I love it. Kaan, this has been amazing. I hope we get to hang out at SEMA again, and I hope we go to that same Brazilian barbecue place.
Absolutely. Sorry, I babbled on about the sales.
No, that was great, and it needs to be said. It really does. So if people are in Grand Rapids area and want to get their car detailed, or if there's other detailers out in that area that maybe want to follow you to see when your seminar's coming, or just visit you and stop by. Maybe they want to try some Gion products, or Gion, or however you say it, and they can buy from you. How can they get a hold of you? How can they maybe stop by and see your shop? How can we find Kaan on the interwebs?
So, you know, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on kind of YouTube, but mainly Facebook and Instagram. You're going to really catch me.
Yep.
The name of my company is Revive. So you may be able to find it under Revive Detailing. I'm not sure if that will bring it up, but I know for sure if you do Revive, the art of auto aesthetics. And the reason, and you know, if we have a minute, I'll explain why I chose aesthetics versus detailing, is that I wanted to get away from that name of detailing. I wanted to, you know, rechange the market. So that's why I call it aesthetics. So those are the platforms. Those are the platforms that I'm on. So by all means, feel free to reach out to me. My phone number is on my Facebook page. You can call me. I really want to help somebody out if I can. Then I also, if you are in the Grand Rapids market, I am an authorized Gion detailer. So I do have a full Gion retail line. So if you want to come in and get premium detailing products, come to me. I'll get you squared away. And then lastly, I want to make an announcement, is that next week, Friday, August 3rd, is going to be my grand opening. So I have yet to do a grand opening. Obviously, you guys are just seeing just a little bit of the shop. I'll turn the camera real quick. There's more that way. Nice. But there's so much more to the place to be seen. You know, I'm getting touch screens installed. I'm getting interactive projection screens installed that are coming up. So, but my open house is this coming Friday. Definitely watch me on Facebook. Definitely watch me on Instagram. We're going to be bringing out some videos about it. So there's a lot to be had. I love it if you follow my journey. I would love it even more if you reached out to me and have me help you, or you help me, because I don't know everything. There is so much that I've learned in the last couple of months that I would never even known to ask the question. So, you know, it'd be nice to have somebody in the industry be like, dude, you're doing this wrong, or you should be doing it this way. And it'd be nice for me to pass that along to the next guy who's coming up as well.